Great. Oh, yeah, we're rolling. Thanks, Dalton. Okay. Here we go. Welcome back, Fellowship family, to this week's episode of the Deeper Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Doug Congdon, joined by my co-host, Brian Paul Trias, and Elder today, Richard Johnson.
Nope.
I don't know why I went with Johnson. That's a last name. Richard James. Alexander? No way.
Nope.
No.
Alan.
Okay, so
Yes.
what was it? You got it?
Alan.
Oh, so you were right.
Mm-hmm.
So Rich was trying to give us a hint ahead of the show and said it was a famous/infamous baseball player from a long time ago.
Richard Allen McKee spells Ram.
Hey,
a new nickname.
Yeah, it does.
Wow. Is that what you drive? No, you don't. You
No.
drive a different truck.
Yeah. Richie Allen played for the Phillies.
Allen.
Yeah, and he was quite a character, great baseball player. And when I was growing up as a child, you two are too young.
Was
to-
that during the Lincoln administration?
Oh my
or
gosh. So bad.
I'm glad we're in chapter 3 today.
Touche.
Got him.
Touche.
Okay, Richie Allen is the name of that guy. Okay, so Richard Allen McKee.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it was when, one of the things I remember was in Major League Baseball at that time, tobacco was allowed.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd go in the dugout during the game. He'd be smoking a cigarette. And
That feels so weird.
Now,
to
is this
think
the
about.
Philadelphia Phillies or the Philadelphia Athletics?
Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure it's the Phillies.
Oh,
But
gosh. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, how long ago that was. Okay. Rich, we've had you on before. You are, a relatively frequent podcast guest. Part of that is because of what we're talking about today. You're good with words, right? And you have so many stories. You live your faith out well. I'm excited to see and hear kind of your insight into what we're talking about today. And also, I mean, if you're a regular podcast listener, you're going to get Rich again here in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot from Rich, which I like.
And he's just always here.
He is. He is. He has his own little office
Yeah.
downstairs. He doesn't get paid for what he does, sadly, but, he has a heart of gold. Just given time.
yeah, I like to refer to it as the executive cubicle.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay. You're really giving yourself some import there. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rich, we started every week in this Godly Wisdom series with this question of our guest. Because James is all about wisdom, the New Testament book, give us one piece of wisdom you've gotten in your life that has kind of greatly affected it or changed it.
Yeah, so there's this secular wisdom, which could be also godly, about
Mhm.
working hard at whatever you do. And there's a couple of thoughts I had on that. And you're going to say, oh man, that's the church answer, Rich. But the wisdom I was given is to be in the Word. And I followed that wisdom, guidance, and that has changed my life more than anything else.
Huh.
Is to be in God's Word. The other thing that struck me when you asked that question
Yeah.
was Jesus was asked a similar question. Tell us what's the most important law.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, I don't have one. I have two. So those two are good pieces of wisdom and guidance for me.
Okay. Who was it that told you? Do you remember who it was that told you, hey, just get in the Word? That's what you need more than anything
I'm going to
else.
say it's collective.
Okay.
It was would have been more than one person. It would have been here when I started my walk with Christ, which would have been about 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and being around godly men
Mm-hmm.
and watching them, and they kept saying, yeah, be in the Word, be in the Word.
Mm-hmm.
And the church that I grew up in was a mainline denominational, and we didn't
Mm-hmm.
spend time in the Word. We heard about God, seldom heard about Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly wasn't in the Word reading it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that bit of advice has
Mm-hmm.
changed me, probably more than any other word or guidance.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you started that answer. I got a little confused there at the beginning, but I think I sorted it out with the idea that you, maybe before Jesus,
Yes.
had received wisdom on whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Was that kind of, that was kind of the Bible verse side of it. But
Yes.
what was the wisdom that you got originally that you would have said, like, was a centerpiece.
Yeah,
of
whatever
your life
job you
before that?
have, man, just work as hard as you can, give it your best shot.
Okay.
And that was more worldly. Of
Yeah.
where it ends kind of empty. Like, well, where does that take you? To idolatry of my job or myself or
Career, yeah.
a career path up the ladder. It was good advice,
Hmm.
and I think given to me by people who had either walked through the depression or had been a byproduct of the depression, and how important it was just to have a job. And boy, that was branded into them.
Yeah, okay.
Just from a worldly view.
That's great. You gave us the worldly answer. It's kind of a secular wisdom answer, a godly wisdom answer. That was great. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
I think Hamilton says it. I'm not throwing away my shot. I think that's what he was trying to communicate.
Yeah, I think that's in there in
Yeah.
one of those original founding documents, as he said it that way.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Just a quick question of the day then. Brian just took us in there, so we'll just go there. I was totally going to go there anyway. What is your favorite piece of musical theater, either that you've enjoyed in person or on the screen?
Mm.
And Brian, did you obviously are familiar-ish with Hamilton.
Mhm.
Have you seen it live?
No.
Okay. Did you watch the movie form of it?
Yep.
Okay. So anyway, that's just a curiosity. What's your favorite musical of all time? Since I know you're
Do you
a
want
big
to
fan.
go first?
I think you better go first, Brian.
Have you seen a musical?
Not sure.
Then I'll take two answers because I have two. Hamilton is by far my most favorite that I've seen recently.
Yeah.
Loved Hamilton,
Yeah.
but my all-time favorite is Les Mis.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And those might
sad.
be the
That's
only
my-
two that I've ever seen.
I mean, this is apropos because the second part of Wicked Part 2, is coming out in theaters
Yeah.
this Friday. Yeah, tomorrow, I think. So, but Rich, I'm taking it from your face, that blank expression. You did not see the first part of the Wicked.
This might be a little bit of a stretch, Doug, but I think one of the last movies I saw was Old Yeller. So,
Like
I'm
you
not-
just rewatched it?
Was that also was
Do you not
that
watch movies?
I'll say that. Okay, no, I have an answer. I remember my mom taking me to. Promise you won't laugh.
Yeah.
Promise.
No, I can't promise that. Let's be honest.
Mary Poppins.
In
supercalifragilistic?
theater.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And after the movie, we went next door to Woolworth and bought a 33 album.
Oh wow, of Mary Poppins, like of the soundtrack, or
Yeah.
just
Spoonful of sugar, baby.
Yeah, that's right. So I think being with my mom and
Yeah,
probably my older brother Dave.
yeah. So that's like
Do
a
you
sweet
remember
memory.
Woolworth?
That, no, I
I
don't.
remember Woolworth.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I thought he was just referencing
No.
a business that went out of business,
No,
like
old school 5 and dime store. Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, it is like it was a general-ish store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their still existence when I was alive.
The way you're talking about this though is making it sound like you haven't been to a theater since Mary Poppins. That's not
very
true, right?
often.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you go see the Chosen Christmas special with the staff?
Was that when they were all wearing white?
I don't know.
There was
Yes.
part of that.
Oh!
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know if that counts. I don't
Yeah,
think that
I
was, I don't
was
think that
there.
counts as a movie.
Yeah, I was
so,
there
Rich,
for
is there
that.
something you have against movies? I'm just kind of fascinated now. Do you just not like the time that it takes, or do you just not like watching movies in general?
I'll watch maybe a movie at home, like on a screen or
Yeah.
streaming or something. But no, I just haven't.
You're not going to a
haven't-
theater to do it.
I haven't for a while. I mean, yeah.
Wow, fascinating. Okay.
What about you? You didn't answer
Oh,
that.
I didn't answer. And the reason this came up was because somebody asked me this week if I was going to Wicked Part 2 and if I was going to bring the kids. And I said I'm a bit of a snob with musical theater in that I really want my kids to experience it in a theater, like being acted out and sung out in front of them instead of like the glitz and the close-up of the movie offering. So my favorite of all time is Les Mis. I mean, I could watch that every day, honestly. And I cry to it every time I watch it, the musical. But Wicked is a close second. And then Once was great. Phantom I saw and it was like
I've been
glitzy.
to Phantom,
I just didn't love it. But anyway, there's a lot of good options out there.
My parents took me to the theater they had a season pass for a couple of seasons. So we saw like Evita
In Austin.
Oh,
yeah.
And Phantom of the Opera, and
Evita,
Fiddler
nice.
on the Roof.
Oh, yeah.
And a whole bunch of the classics.
Yeah. You're so
And-
cultured. That's great.
I don't think I saw Cats because I always thought it was weird.
Yeah.
But I never saw Les Mis live, and that's the one I really want to see.
Okay. Well, you do it on Broadway then. Go full bore.
Yeah, I'll just hop
Yeah,
over really
just
quick.
fly to New York. You're fine. You'll be great. Okay. Thanks. Great little random segue there. Okay, so let's get back into James.
James.
Transition. Joe's back from Egypt. He is teaching this week, and he's covering all of James 3. So for the last 3 weeks of the series, we're doing a full chapter at a time. If you're in the Daily Devo, you know that. You've been taking it apart bit by bit. So here's the things. You will have heard this already, but I'm going to sum it up just to remind you as we talk about it. First point, our words are powerful. Our words are destructive. Our words are difficult to tame. Our words are the fruit of a deeper root. And I think what really stands out about the James 3 way he talks about the tongue is the powerful analogies that he uses. They're great. So let's go through those a little bit. First of all, he does a bit or a bridle, right, for the horse, the mouth of a horse, and a rudder for a ship. And that's kind of shows how something so small can be so powerful. When he's talking about that with the tongue, do you think he means the fact that the tongue is legitimately a tiny part of your body and has such power? Or do you think it's like the words that we say, as small as they are, can have such an effect? Do you think it's like legitimately like an organ comparison?
I think it's both.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's small in stature and huge in influence.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so the bridle has huge influence, the rudder has huge influence, and our tongue has huge influence for bad or for good.
Yeah.
But it's also very tiny.
Yeah. Any horse riding experience here? I'm guessing Rich has got some.
Yes.
Yeah. It is crazy to me when I'm sitting astride a, 1,000-pound beast that it will do what I want it to do by just, first of all, you got to train it, but just that little thing in its mouth lets me control this gigantic beast that could absolutely take me. So anyway, just power of the tongue, part 1. Part 2, though, that power is often used for destruction. So he uses the analogy of the fire. How does he say it?
How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire. Verse 6, and the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and set on fire by hell. Boy, he uses fire a lot, doesn't it? In those
And not in like the really cool, like 2025 way that we say fire. Like, oh man, that was so fire. This is like bad. This is bad fire. Yeah.
It's fire.
And when he gets to the end and says set on fire by hell, I don't know what to do with that. That seems like an not irreparable, but irredeemable thing. Like for him to take that strong of an approach to it. Have you seen? I don't know. I want to like get your take on that. Do you also have that reaction to that description of a tongue?
Yes, in this way, Doug. A fire is never satisfied with what it consumes. It always wants more. And how the words we say when they're not godly and they're unrighteous can lead to more words that are ungodly and unrighteous. Our natural reaction is to, okay, you're going to hit a 2-pointer on me. I'm coming back with a 3-pointer, right? So, yeah, I can see that here. Sure can. I've lived that.
Yeah. That's a good perspective. The idea that it feeds on itself. It just continues to grow. The 2-pointer to the 3-pointer to the half-court shot to the... Now you're saying terrible, terrible things to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your reaction to the tongue is set on fire by hell?
I don't know. My brain's going to a really weird place. Like, there's just lots of connections all through James. One of the things James does is go to Job in chapter 5. And all of a sudden I'm thinking about Job says the thing about, like, the Lord gives, Lord takes away, blessed be the name of the Lord. But all of a sudden his wife is sitting there going, curse the Lord.
Curse God and die.
You know, you like use your words for bad. Like this is, and that's what the devil wanted. The devil wanted for Job to turn his back on the Lord because he had taken away his stuff. And so it's like the devil is trying to do everything he can, and one of the ways that he can do that is allow our words to just set ablaze. So
that's good. So after the fire, he goes into poison as well, right? Where's that at? Yeah, the end of 8.
And the animals.
And the animals, the taming part.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I kind of had that out of order there. Well, I guess I'd follow Joe's order.
You're fine.
So the other description of the destructiveness of the tongue is a restless evil full of deadly poison. Joe puts that scary snake picture up on the screen, which I hate snakes, so I didn't like that at all. And then our words are difficult to tame. Our tongue is difficult to tame. It says in 8, just like so bluntly, no human being can tame the tongue. So again, kind of like a very negative, James seems to have a very negative view of speech. Almost like nobody's going to get this right, as much as you try.
Or perfect.
Perfect.
That might be a slight hedge, but we're going to get it right sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's no human's ever going to have complete mastery over the tongue.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm remembering 1:26. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. So it's like what's at stake in it. I mean, you're not going to, if nobody can do it perfectly and you don't learn to tame it in some way, then yeah, it just kind of like eats away at everything else that you want to do. And then the last one, our words are the fruit of a deeper root. So he talks about this 10 and 11, that idea that from our mouth comes blessing and curses. We bless God, we curse our brothers with it. And then he does the fig trees, the olives, the grapevine, the figs, the spring and the salt water and fresh water. So all that to say that out of our heart there is both good and evil, and our tongue is the expression of that. Is there anything in that kind of overview of 2:1-12 that you guys would pick out? Any verses you liked in there, or anything you liked the way he said it that you want to say?
Doug, you just used the word. I'm looking here for the word heart. I mean, that's what he's pointing to. I don't see it in this chapter.
Yeah.
But that's where those words are born, is in our heart, and then they come out of our...
Out of the overflow of the heart.
Yeah. And the other question I had was, back in verse 8, when you mentioned, no human being can tame the tongue, that I think the way I took it from you, Doug, you're looking at that we can't tame our own tongue, and I wondered if James meant that can I tame your tongue like I can tame an animal?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because it's not your tongue, it's your heart. And I can't change your heart. So I could tell you, hey, don't speak like that, Doug, or don't be negative that way.
Yeah.
But I can't change your heart.
Yeah. That's I remember thinking about that today too when Joe was reading through it, because when you think about how he talks about taming other animals, you are thinking of something outside of yourself. He says nobody can tame the tongue, and my first thought too is, he talking in general about like I can't tame the tongue of this church if I'm leading it or whatever. I can't tame your tongue. So that is interesting. Have you normally taken that as your own tongue, Brian? Yeah, but I think I don't know. I don't know if it also is supposed to refer to that too. And you talked about how it doesn't very clearly talk about how use the word heart there until it gets into what Joe uses in 13-18, which is kind of like, this is what's going on underneath. And in 14 there, it's talking about the bad stuff coming out of your hearts. If you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false. And so I think there is that comparison. But down in 17 and 18, when he's talking about the positive view of it, he doesn't really say anything specifically about heart. He talks about pure, peaceable, gentle, open to reason, that kind of wisdom that comes from above. So I think it's more implied than it is like really easily stated for us. But I think the point is made in there. I think it's pretty easy to draw those two correlations. So a lot of what Joe's going to try to get us to do is begin to practice using our words for the positive side of what it looks like to bless God and bless others, to be people of integrity with our words, that we're using it for good. So what I want to do is spend some time getting practical and probably story time, just talking about how we have seen words, how we've used them ourselves, or how we've seen them used in our life. So let's kind of go through his outline there and give examples of what it looks like for our listeners. So do you guys have a story that really kind of illustrates the power of the words the power of words as you've experienced them in your life, whether it's you saying them or somebody saying words to you, and just the power, kind of like the ship, the rudder of the ship, and the bridle in the horse's mouth.
Well, I can give you some, there aren't good examples.
Okay.
In terms of
Like
using.
they're negatives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
And before I knew Jesus, which is when I hope most of the bad examples I could give you. But this is so sad, but so true in my failed marriage. I think I idolized myself, and I'd pour myself into my job, so I would receive whatever. And in that job, I had to work at being patient with people. And when I would come home, I was
out
on
of patience. Yeah.
And my then wife, and man, I would just snap, cut off, use words that were not good. So yeah, and that ended in a failed marriage, I'm sad to say. But yeah, so that's one example I could give of.
Yeah. And those were, that's a pattern of using words negatively, not necessarily like a common phrase or something that you said over and over again that was very powerful, but just the way that you used your words over time.
Yeah, what's sad in that example, Doug, is if I would have treated my then wife like I did my clients, I would have been treating her better.
That's, yeah.
It's very sad.
That's tough.
But true.
Thanks for your honesty in that.
Yeah.
And vulnerability. Yeah. Brian, do you have any examples of like words having great power in your life?
The story that comes to mind is I do that every week.
I bet. Oh, it was you.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, great. Yeah.
A story that comes to mind. Little inside baseball here. You put together this great sheet every week, and I don't look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's because I like to be off the cuff. I like to say the things that I think, and I tend to do that in relationships as well. And I have had a number of times where people have come up and they would say, "Hey, do you remember 2 years ago when I was going through this and you said this?" And I'd be like, "Nope, don't even remember that I talked to you." But they'll be like, it was very meaningful. It was very helpful.
Oh, good.
And just
so they do that in a positive way.
And just the thought of, I'm doing some of that stuff just off kilter or just off the cuff. What if I actually had some intention behind that? And I sought out people knowing that words have weight and good, and using that influence on a positive thing, and not being reactive, but being proactive with it. So I think that's an area where I could grow.
Yeah, I love it. People who knew me in middle school, high school, early college, I think would, if they heard I was doing a podcast on words, would kind of just tune out or be like, yeah, that's the last person that should be speaking on that. So I have a very bad reputation with a lot of sarcasm, cutting, quick comments, a lot of that intended for humor, but with the immaturity of somebody who had no idea that he was really hurting feelings. People would laugh in my presence and then go home and cry about it or tell me years later that it hurt them. So it wasn't until I remember this change in my life of realizing how powerful words could be when I had a couple people speak positive words into me about what my future could be. Like, not just, hey, that was good job on the test or, whatever, so passing comments, but like, hey, I see this in you. I think that you could be great in ministry if you were to pursue this path, or great with students, or these are your skills. And what that did as far as changing the whole trajectory of what I studied in school, going to seminary, what I pursued in my entire life, like those few conversations had great power over my life. And so when I became a student pastor, over time, it became clear to me that, like, I have a chance to speak into these kids at some of the most important times in their life, when they're figuring out their identity, when they're figuring out what they want to do with their life, and in college and their majors and all of those things. And it just became clear to me I have to be very careful with what I say. And then also I have the chance to, when I see somebody who I believe has great potential for the Lord, to like take them aside and actually speak that into them. So I can remember a couple of conversations, some of them at camp, summer camps, some of them after late night after youth group, when kids are sticking around, having conversations with kids where I said, hey, you are gifted at this and you should do this. And one of them is a church planner in Houston right now. One of them is in Oklahoma doing student ministry. And to see what sometimes God can do with just those small, what you think might be a small conversation, but if you realize the small conversations in your life and how formative they've become, it's like, I do have a lot of power, especially if you're in a position over kids, over students, over people who are hanging on your words. Like, you just have a lot of power in that. So I think I've seen that pretty clearly come into play.
Doug, I don't remember as easily words that I've spoken as easily as I remember words spoken to me.
To you, yeah.
And one of those was a friend of ours by Mike Tyndall. And Mike encouraged me. And his encouragement, for those that know Mike, it's more like a commandment. Okay?
Command.
Command. And he said, you should go on a Living Water transformational trip. And I would have been the last guy to have ever gone on a transformational trip. And wow, it really, opened my eyes. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you think about everything you've done since then because of it. That ended up being an extremely powerful set of words for the trajectory of your life and what you spend a lot of your time doing.
Yeah, that was Mike.
Yeah. Go ahead, yeah.
I was going to say, I resonate with how you started your answer. You're pretty witty, pretty dry, pretty sarcastic, very much the same. Mm-hmm. And
that's part of why we get along so well.
Yeah, one-liners come out. Mm-hmm. And the thing is you and I know when we do them to each other, like there's nothing behind them. There's no deeper meaning there. But, one of the reasons when he talks about not being able to perfect the tongue is like your thing that you say in jest really can wound this other person. Yeah. And you have to be... I have to be on guard with my words have weight regardless. And so it can't just be for fun or for games or... Yeah.
I think we're kind of, stepping to the side a little bit and talking about our own experience, but, it's come up here, even obviously in my job here in the last 5 years. Not like I'm amazing at this right now, but having to work through, okay, it's more about who can I be my witty, sarcastic, dry, blunt self with, and then who do I need to be much more cautious with what I say. And the better part of maturity for me, which has taken the last 15 years or so, is I need to start with everybody in I'm going to be safe and cautious and careful and only use my words to, build up with these people. And then some of those people eventually will filter down into this relationship where I know that I can just talk freely and be sarcastic with it. But to start in that place with people is just dangerous, and there's been so much hurt that I've caused from being immature about that. So can you guys think of a specific, when we talk about the fire part of it, the poison, the fire? Rich, your first example was kind of a fire example, negative example, but can you guys think of any other things that have been said to you either over on a continual basis or even just in a passing one-time thing that really had destruction, bore destruction out in your life? I mean, I guess it could be something you said too, but I was more thinking of what Rich said, which is we tend to remember more what people say about us than what we say to other people. So anything really destructive you guys can think of?
When you're asking this question, are you asking us to say the specific things?
Yes.
I can remember specific things that I have said to my parents intended to hurt. I can remember specific things I've said to my wife intending to hurt. Yeah. Not as much with my kids. My kids is a little bit more reactive. And then I can think of things said to me, and I don't know if they were meant to hurt sometimes, but you're not good at this, or you have no ability to do this, or you are not fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm not going to say them because then people want to know who said them to you. But you have these things and you hold on to them, and like there are times they'll still slip out. You'll do something.
Like you'll
and
say it
like,
about yourself.
No.
Oh.
No. It's like almost in spite. It's like, yeah, I did that, but I'm not. And it just begets more bad words. So. Yeah, I'm not competitive at all.
Oh, yeah, not at all. Was there any like identity forming words that were said to you early on that were destructive? When you said like people are like, you're just not this. You're not athletic, or you're not like good at art, or you're not.
Wow.
Are there any of those things that early on, right, formed how you thought about yourself, and then later you were like, oh, that was just a lie, or?
For a while, no. For a while, I could kind of get irritated, and then usually what I could do is I could put my head down and I could work hard and I could beat it.
Yeah, prove that it's not true.
And then someone got under my skin to a point where I was inoperable. I could not do anything about it. I could not function, and that's when I had a good friend come alongside and say, "Hey, you need help outside of yourself." And that's where I had to go. To counseling to help me be able to understand that those things were placed on me but were not who I was. And that sticks and stones can break my bones, but words are like, no, they were devastating for a time.
Yeah I think that children's chant is so obviously upside down, like people saying that because they've been hurt so much, so they just have to like react with no, words can never hurt me. It's like, yeah, they can, obviously. What about you, Rich? You have any of those kind of like formational identity pieces?
I can remember harsh words spoke to me in the secular world. Gosh, I can't even remember what the issue was, but you'd be in some discussion or kind of a debate about whether you turn left or turn right. And one of the people involved in this debate had a law degree. And instead of arguing with the content of the discussion, they turned personal and it's like, where did you get your law degree, Doug?
Oh, man.
And I could just feel the hair on the back of my neck just raise up. And I was thinking of, how do I respond to this? And I know what my heart wanted to say. And then I've been in some meetings where in ministry where mean words were said, and I could feel my heart getting very hard, and telling myself, I'm never stepping back in this place again. I'm done here. No words came out of my mouth, but I could sure feel my it created a spot in me.
Sometimes we can curse people without actually using words.
Are you thinking like actually actions that exclude or hurt that person? Or are you just talking about your facial like nonverbals?
No, I mean like I'm going to sever relationship with you. I'm not going to restore with you.
Okay.
Work against you. Do stuff.
Yeah. Without ever using actual words, for sure. Yeah, I think it's interesting too. Halfway through our discussion after run through, somebody brought up posts or social media, and I was like, there's so much of our words now, because when I think about this, I think about verbal words generally spoken to me, but there's so many words now that are exchanged without actually anybody opening their mouth, right? If you think about all the texts that you send in a day, then maybe social media posts that you read or repost, I think that counts as words, reposting what other people say is, so there's, when you broaden the spectrum, you think there's a ton of words that I say in a day, and not just when I actually verbally speak them. And even tougher part with text, email, with stuff that just didn't exist in James's time, really, right?
Sure.
Text and email and social media is there's just no tone involved. Like you can write stories all day about why, what this tone actually was from the person who sent this. And it seems even more dangerous with the way that comes across.
Yeah, verse 14, Doug,
Yeah.
specifically uses the words "do not boast," and I think when we look on social media, what do you see? I mean, constantly. And I can catch myself in that. Oh, I'll put a post on Facebook. What am I putting? Something I've accomplished.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And man, that when I step back, it feels like, gosh, I'm boasting. Why? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's convicting for me.
Yeah.
Or even a meme, or capitalizing text messages, or
Hey, yo. Nice. Way to get into the nitty gritty there. Yeah. Just
Do you know what that means when you capitalize a text message?
when you use all caps in a text message? You're saying?
well, you must assume I don't, because you wouldn't ask. So
Yeah, now Rich is like, I'm afraid to say.
It means you're yelling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
That,
okay.
Rich got that. I think. Yeah. He's like,
what else is there? What did I do?
You should stay away from emojis. We'll just say that. Okay.
Okay, so just for fun, tell me, give me a person in your life who you think is great at this, who, with all of James's withering despair about how bad we are with our tongues and how bad it can be, who's somebody that you know or run into or are around a lot who is great with their words? I mean, Rich, part of the reason we asked you is because Brian and I both see you as somebody who is a person who builds other people up with your words. You seem careful with your words. In elders meetings and other meetings I'm at, you are what we're probably going to end on today, which is James's original thing, to be quick to listen and then slow to speak and slow to become angry. I feel like that's a picture of how I see you too. So I'll start by just cheating and saying we asked you to be on the podcast partially because we see you as good at this, but give me some other people in your lives that who you feel like do this well.
In my life, it was my dad. Man, he
nice.
was a real encourager.
Oh,
And he ended up being a teacher at K-State, and his gift that he was given was to seek students that were broke or lost or about to quit college.
that was his job?
That's his gifting. He was an
Oh, okay.
advisor. He was an animal science professor.
Nice. Okay.
But when I watched
nice.
him, that was the gifting he had. He'd see a student. He could pick him out. That, man, this kid looks like he's not doing well. Call him into his office, encourage him, speak to him.
This is so cool.
Yeah. So watching that model of how he lived was a really good model for me. So I don't see myself the way you guys see me. I see myself more in some ways like you, Doug. I'll try to use humor at times when I shouldn't use humor. And then it's like, oops, I shouldn't have said that. And maybe I've used humor, and of course in the wrong ways. So I have to be guarding against that.
Okay. What a cool picture to have a dad who's good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, to learn from that. That's cool. I was like, oh, Brian's got nobody. That's a bad sign.
No, there's people in my life that are a constant source of encouragement. Like every time I see like a Jones Speak or a Jerry Pfeiffer or a Mary Crumpton, like they're just so encouraging. Bill Hess is a super encourager.
Sure
Bill
is.
Horn
That's a
is
good
a
point.
super encourager. Like there's people that, Jim Turner, I know he has passed, but every time you do a message, you'd come back to your desk and there's a text message that said, "Hey, great message, super proud of you."
Yeah.
It's like, it's uplifting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny because when I thought about the people who are best, I also thought the people who text you every time you preach and pick something out and say, "This was great. I feel like God's using this. Thank you for your service." Carol Denton does that with me every time. So encouraging. Nancy Ramsey's great about that too. I think those are the people that you're so glad to run into, right? All the time. You see them and you're like, oh, great. Yeah, this is good. I'm probably going to get encouraged at the end of this conversation or something. And you're drawn to those people, which is, beautiful. It's a beautiful picture of what your words can do.
Yep. And I think the humbling thing is I don't know if I'm always that.
Yeah.
Because I'm an 8. I'm a challenger. Like we do 2 critiques a week. We do the Thursday and the Saturday, you know. It's like I'm constantly looking for what can we tweak and improve.
Yeah.
I got to remember to be a little bit more on the positive end.
Yeah. Okay, so dream with me a bit here, or hypothesize. We're going to lean into strategic vision talk. So when it comes to how we use our words, how we use our tongue, how can we be intentional at home, first of all, with how we use our words to build up instead of destroy or tear down?
Can I answer that with a question?
Yeah.
Does it seem like to you two that you maybe let your guard down
At home.
and that somehow we think, well,
Yeah.
they should love me because I've had a hard day or a long day, and we're not as... Is that a truism?
Yes to the first half of it, which is I do let my guard down at home. My excuse for that is less that I've had a hard day, so they should just understand and give me grace, but it's more like they should know what I think of them in general, because I have hopefully said it enough times that I can then depart and say these mean or critical things, and it shouldn't matter that much because they should know that, you know, they know that I love them, and they know that I think they're smart and they're awesome. But so that means I can kind of tear them down when they do something stupid and be like, hey, that was really dumb. You need to not do that. So I think that's my excuse. And I have found, I have a wife who's much better with her and encouraging with her words than I am. So I have found over the years, she will take me aside at times and be like, hey, it feels like you're really coming down hard on, you know, one of your kids here, and I feel like they need to hear some encouragement out of you and not just the negative stuff that they're doing, or you seem really fixated on this negative thing instead of all the positive things that they are doing. And so that's just a reminder, oh yeah, I need to be intentional, right? I need to come into my house at the end of a day of work looking to speak blessing. I need to think about that, because if I walk in and the homework's not done, or I have to fix a clogged sink or a broken window or something that they've done, and I'm not already intentionally thinking about being positive, I'll just naturally slip into like the rude or negative focus.
Doug, could it also be the tone of the words, not the words themselves?
Sure, yeah.
The expression, the body language,
Yeah.
and the abruptness or quickness. Like in my past example, I would have cut my wife off or cut them, you know, and sometimes finished the sentence for them. So not only the words themselves, but yeah.
Yeah, I think in counseling they'll tell you, I think it's nonverbals are 70% of all communication. So I definitely think, yeah, tone, body language, all that stuff. And your family knows it better than anybody. Like you can do just the smallest tick of your face, and because your family knows you so well, they'll know exactly what that
you're
means
upset or something's wrong.
Yeah.
Or
I must have done something stupid.
Nothing. Yeah.
So shocking, but I'm a little bit more jaded than that. I don't think it's a truism, or that we err on the fact that, oh, I can get away with this. I think we are our most real selves at home. And I think we're faker in places of business and places of work, because we know there are things I can't get away with. Because I know if someone comes to meet with me in my office and I like, oh, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, like that's going to spread. That's not going to go well for me. But at home, when someone's like, hey, here's an issue, that's stupid, why are we dealing with that? Like, that's just my natural thing that comes out. And so I think we kind of have a guard or a mask or a veneer often in public settings that we don't have at home. And it's completely backwards.
Yeah.
Like those should be the people we love the most. We value the most, and we should be most intentional with how we're doing that. And oftentimes we're just more selfish in those environments.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I think the ideal picture, and I know that he would feel uncomfortable with me saying this, of intentionality with my words at home looks a little bit like what Joe always talks about when he went through that process of choosing words for each of his kids, speaking those words over them, basically, this is who you are, this is who we've seen God make you to be, and repeating those words with intentionality over time, like such a formative thing, and choosing words to the family too. So that's something I did with Darcy at the mountain trip this last summer, and then did again when we had our daddy-daughter dance, and then bought her some art that had the words on it, and it's like, okay, how can I repeat these positive I see in you words over time with her, which is basically I'm just trying to copy Joe because I thought it was such a good idea, and then do the same thing with Harvey. And then I was just thinking the other day, okay, what do I do with my wife though? Like, I should do this with my spouse. I think I've focused so much on our kids, but she's also wanting to hear continual words of encouragement. So,
well, you just said it. I don't know if you did it intentionally or not, but the I see in you words, like when you talk about using our words at home, like I think we should constantly be having those, whether you've chosen 3 words or not. When they do something that you're proud of, like tell them. Like they don't just assume that you're proud of them. You have to tell them. They don't just assume that you love them. You got to tell them. And I know that's one thing with Ben. I tried to be woodenly literal with that when he was young. I was like, I wanted him to hear every day, I love you and I'm proud of you. So I said it and I said it and I said it. And one day he's like, I get it. Right. And so now it looks a little different, but like, I don't want that to be abnormal for them to hear those words about how I feel about them or what I see in them or what I value in them. And then when I do that, I think I also earn the right to have some of the other words of like, hey, this isn't you. Like this needs to be corrected, or this needs to be worked on. This is how this is going to harm you going down. But it all starts with that positive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, another thing I see in you two and others is not only just your words, but an example how we can be more intentional at home. When you drive in the driveway and you're on the phone, you end it. Hey, I'm home. And you don't walk in the house. Hey, I'm on the phone.
Joe calls that giving the finger.
He does.
Yeah.
It's like just a second.
Yeah, and you guys set a good example for that. How you are quick to listen, and how could you possibly listen to the people you love the most by being on the phone? Because your jobs never end. I see that here. It's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, and you've got to establish boundaries. So yeah, I see that as an example of how to be intentional at home, Doug.
Okay, so what about available in the world? What does that look like? Because I think it's a little bit tougher to flesh that one out than it is with intentional at home with our words. What does it look like to be available to the world with the words that you use?
So a little practice that I've tried to do
Yeah.
is when someone gossips in a good way about someone, I always go and tell the person. And so like the other day I was in the grocery store and I'm usually listening to podcasts and I'm in my own little world and someone's like, hey, Brian, how's it going? And I turn and look, and I was like, oh, hey, I was just talking about you the other day. And I relayed this whole conversation. You kind of just saw her go, oh. And it's just like, you know what? Like we can do that. We can be conduits of positivity for people because I think we're usually conduits of negativity. About like complaining about something or isn't this bad or what did the Chiefs do this weekend or and it's like, no, hey, I've seen this in you, like, or I've heard this about you. And so passing on compliments, or especially in restaurants or something like that, when you have really good service, like sometimes I'll go tell the manager like they were great or actually leaving good feedback about something. Those are just good ways to use words to
Oh, those are great. Super practical. Yeah. Thanks. That's good ideas. You got anything, Rich?
Yeah, the grocery store. Yeah. Great example of how often do I say, hey, Doug, how you doing? But I really don't mean it in my heart.
Yeah.
And you're going to tell me, and then in my, well, no, I wanted to go do this, and that. I have this schedule in my head. And so to be intentional and patient and quick to listen. And
but choosing to enter when you see that person that you know in the grocery store and you're doing something else, choosing to enter into a conversation when you may want to just keep going.
That you've got some, I want to get home in time for the kickoff. I want to whatever. To be available, intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Joe's point that he makes in the sermon too is the tongue is so evil, or there's so much potential for bad with the tongue. The only thing that can change it into good is the gospel. And so I think about the picture of when I'm around non-believers. One of the first things that I feel like happens in a group setting is what you said, group bashing, right? Whether it's somebody at the job or lots of times I feel like bosses all the time, get thrown under the bus. Sometimes spouses, if it's like a guy hangout or a girl hangout. And it is so disarming when you insert positivity into a conversation where people are just sitting around and bemoaning, is how I'll say that, bemoaning problems or complaints. And I think the picture of the gospel in that is it's just supposed to be a picture of the opposite heart. So I think that it's supposed to be a little bit shocking in those conversations for people to be like, oh, this guy's talking really positively about his spouse or positively about his boss, or he's choosing to say positive things directly to me that encourage me. And I don't really get that anywhere else in my life, right? Because it's a unique thing. And so I feel availability in the world when it comes to my tongue is just choosing to have awkward moments of positivity in the midst of kind of routines of negativity. And so I've seen that at some point with some people I'm close to, and it makes them uncomfortable. But over time, I think they get used to it, hopefully.
Yeah, I think there's more negativity, it feels like. Obviously, I wasn't walking around quite when James wrote this, but the social media.
Yeah.
It seems like everything that I turn on, a radio talk show, just kind of the hatred and negativity towards players and coaches. And there's a lot of that negativity out there. So it is shocking when you give good words, encouraging words.
Yeah.
So should the Mavs fans have been chanting, keep Nico?
Extend Nico? Oh, man.
That is a niche reference that 4 of our listeners are going to understand.
Okay. Any other thoughts before we close up on this portion of James 3 and the tongue, power of the tongue?
And just in general, it's an incredible influence that we have. Thinking of it like the rudder of a ship. It stirs the direction. And today when I wake up, am I going to choose to use it for a positive way? Because I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
My tongue is going to be used today. Let today be positive.
That's really good.
Yeah, I think of one of my other favorite verses. I'm going to pull it up here, Doug, so I don't get it wrong, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Is Proverbs 15:1 and 2. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise commends knowledge, but the mouths of fools pour out folly. So, not only do we find it in the New Testament in James, but throughout Scripture, and here it was in Proverbs. So that's a good one to burn on our heart.
Yeah, love it. Brian, will you close us in prayer?
Yeah, love to.
Appreciate it.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for just an opportunity to talk about your word and to do so with friends. Lord, as we gather this weekend to talk about James 3, I pray that you would impress upon each person who is there how much influence they have. Lord, we live in families, we go to work, we go to school, we are around people created in the image of God all day long, and we have an incredible opportunity to be a blessing. And so, Father, I pray that we may call out words that will bring life, and those words that bring death and curse, I pray that we would just confess those things and turn them over to you, and so that they may not be as damaging as they can be. And so, Lord, be with Joe this week as he is about to communicate this, and I pray that your Spirit would take it and impress it upon our hearts. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Wow, how did I forget? Yeah, but
Rich.
what was the middle name? I already
Allen.
forgot. Allen. Oh, Richard Allen, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your time on the pod. Brian, thank you as always. Thank you to those of you that tuned in to this episode of the Deeper Podcast. We'll catch you all next time.